Okay, Algebra 1s, we have another video. This one's going to be a little long too, and then we should be back to normal. And this one is on solving two-steps equations. So when you are done with this video, you should be comfortable in solving two-step equations. So you'll put the check mark in the box right there and move on. So in two-step equations, we're going to follow the order of operations just like we did before. We're going to start by adding any understood operations, so in any of those invisible operations. So right now we know we have 8 times n, if you remember from earlier. And so what that means is we're going to do the order of operations to our variable n, and then we're going to undo that with the opposite operations. So by the order of operations, we would do n times 8 first, and then we would do plus 7. So that would follow the order of operations like this. Then we're going to undo it by going backwards. So how do we undo plus 7? Well, we do minus 7. And how do we undo times 8? Well, we do divide by 8. So we're going to do that to both sides, and we'll use that information to solve it. So this is the part that we're looking at. So we're going to start with minus 7 on both sides of our equal sign. So minus 7 over here, and minus 7 over here. So we still have our 8n, 8 times n if you want to be specific, and that cancels. Then we have 31 minus 7, which is 24. So that step was good, we took care of it, and then we're going to do the second step, that divide by 8. So if I divide by 8 on this side, I'm going to divide by 8 on this side. So that cancels, and we have n equals 3. You can go back in and check it, but to save time, I'm going to move on. So on example 2, same thing, we do the order of operations to the variable a this time. So there's no understood or invisible operations that are missing. So by order of operations, we don't have parentheses, we don't have exponents, multiplication, division, we just have division. So we're dividing by 4, and then we are adding 2. And let me fix that. So then we undo that by subtracting 2 and multiplying by 4. Those are opposite operations. Adding and subtracting are opposite, multiplying and dividing are opposite. So if we did the order of operations this way, we will undo it this way. So that's what we're going to look at and use that information to solve. So we're going to start by subtracting 2 from this side, and if we subtract it from that side, we have to subtract it from this side. So 6 minus 2 is 4, and we still have a divided by 4. 2 minus 2 is 0, it's gone. So kind of just like last time. So we did this step, and then we're going to multiply both sides by 4. So we're going to multiply this side times 4, and we're going to multiply this side times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, so a equals 16 because these cancel. The division and multiplication cancel. Okay, check your answer if you don't believe me. Plug it back in for a, and you'll get it. Okay, there's a lot of examples, so bear with me. Order of operations to the variable x. We know this is 9 times x. I'm trying to add that times. 9 times x. And by the order of operations, no parentheses, no exponents. We do have multiplication, so times 9. And then we were going to subtract 7. That's what we would do in order of the operations. We will undo that minus 7 with plus 7. We're going to do that first, and then we'll undo the times 9 with divide by 9. We will undo that second. This app. Then, let's actually do it. So we'll do add 7 to this side, and add 7 to this side. So negative 7 plus 7 is 0. Negative 7 plus 7 on this side is also 0. And then we've got 9 times x left over from right here. I didn't do anything with it, I copied it down. Then I need to divide by 9. So I'm going to change colors. So I'm going to divide this by 9. I'm going to divide this by 9. 9 divided by 9 is just 1. So we got 1x or x. And then over here, 0 divided by 9 is just 0. So check it, put that in, and we'll be good. Next, we have some understood or invisible operations. We know that we have a parenthesis up here because that fraction bar, that divide by 6, is on both terms, so that's grouping. So we'll follow the order of operations to the variable x. So what we would do to x first is we would deal with that parenthesis. In the parenthesis, we would add 5. Then we would divide by 6. So that was how we would follow the order of operations. So then we would undo it by multiplying by 6 first, and then subtracting 5. I'll show you what that's going to look like. So we're going to multiply by 6 over here. We're going to multiply by 6 over here. Negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. And then that divide by 6 and the multiply by 6 is what cancels. So we're left with x plus 5 from the top. Then we'll undo that with that minus 5. We already did this. Now we'll undo this with minus 5. So minus 5 over here, minus 5 over here. We get negative 11 equals x, and we'll be all done. You can put that back in, and you're good. Example 5. So we're doing our order of operations to n this time, and this is multiplication. So what we're doing to n, if we were to follow the order of operations with parentheses, we would do n plus 5 in the parentheses first. That's why I put that little symbol to help us remember. And then we would do times 2. So that's how we would follow the order of operations. We would undo it in reverse order. So now instead of times 2, we're going to divide by 2. Instead of plus 5, we're going to subtract by 5. So we'll divide by 2 over here. We'll divide by 2 over here. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So then on this side, we're left with n plus 5. On my right side, I've got negative 2 divided by 2, which is negative 1. Then I will subtract 5 from both sides, because that's how I'm going to get n by itself. So minus 5 over here, minus 5 over here. The 5 minus 5 is 0. We don't need that. N equals negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6. There's my answer. I can check it by putting it back in for n. Okay, again, I'm going very fast because I want to make sure this video is not ridiculously long. So there's a lot of examples. Please ask questions. So now we're going to use that commutative property again. Commutative. So remember, this is that property that says it doesn't matter the order as long as we keep the sign. So for example, we don't know what we're doing to m because we wrote it second. So I can rewrite this problem as negative 10 equals 7m minus 10, and then it's a little bit easier to see the order of operations. So we've got 7 times m minus 10. So by order of operations, I would do my multiplication times 7, and then I would do my subtraction minus 10. So that's how I would do it, and now I will undo it with the opposites. So instead of minus 10, I'm going to do plus 10. Instead of times 7, I'm going to do divided by 7. Now, plus 10 on this side, plus 10 on this side. I do it to both sides of my equal sign every single time. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0, and we're left with 7m. Negative 10 plus m is also 0, and I don't need to write it. Then I divide by 7, like I was saying. So divide by 7, I get 0 equals m. If you don't believe me, double check it. Put it back in for m and see what happens. I think there's 3 more. So we have any understood or invisible operations. Well, like last time, we have that fraction where we have those two grouped together. So we're going to do our order of operations to v. And what would we do to v first? Well, again, it's hard to see because we usually have the variable first, but we can switch the order by the commutative property. So v plus 9 divided by 3 equals 8. Now it's easier to see that we'll deal with this parenthesis first. So we'll do v plus 9, that'll be the first operation, and then we'll divide by 3. So we can undo that with times 3, and we can undo the plus 9 with minus 9. So to solve this, I'm going to start with my times 3 on both sides of this equal sign. So times 3, and I get v plus 9, that divided by 3 and times 3 cancel each other out. So those are gone. And we've got 8 times 3, which is 24. And then finally, I would subtract 9. So I'm going to subtract 9 from this side, subtract 9 from this side. I've got v equals 15. So I can put my 15 back in for v to double check my answers and follow that order of operations down. Kind of works in a little circle, but not going to waste your time too much with the theory. One more, I think. Number 6. Oh, I did 7 first. I don't know why I did the order backwards. I'm sorry. You'll get over it. So, order of operations to n. We need to switch this so that we can see what's actually happening. Do you actually have to switch it? No, but I think it's easier. N divided by 5 plus 4 this time, because this is positive. I just switched the order by the commutative property so it's easier to see. We don't have any parentheses. We don't have any exponents. We do have multiplication or division because we have dividing by 5. Then we have adding 4. That was what we would do in order. Then we undo it by going backwards. So instead of plus 4, we have minus 4. Instead of divide by 5, we have times 5. So what that's going to look like is we're going to start with minus 4 from this side, minus 4 from this side. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. N divided by 5 is still there. I didn't touch it. 4 minus 4 is 0. That's gone. I don't need to write it anymore. So that was done. And then the second step, we'll multiply by 5 over here. Multiply by 5 over here. So we get negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Dividing by 5 and multiplying by 5 cancel each other out. That's 1. And we get n. N equals negative 20. Put this back in for n and double check it. So that's it on the instruction. There is a get to know you page. This was to kind of keep our booklet in a nicer way. Yes, you do have to do it. It won't take you very long. So answer where would you like to go after high school. If it's college, which college. What is your favorite color? Actually tells us a lot about your personality, believe it or not. And for some fun, draw a picture story. Must be school appropriate and include a ninja, a pirate, and a watermelon. So however creative you want to make that. Yes, you do have to do it. It won't take you very long. It should be kind of fun. So that's it for this video. It went a little long, but it wasn't too bad. I think that should be the longest of all of them. As always, for your cups on red, if you have questions, ask, because this is very, very, very important.